Well, a Grand Island teen will learn his fate today after being involved in a shooting with Grand Island police last August. 17-year-old Keean Flores pleaded no contest to several charges related to the shooting. The shooting happened on August 5th when police were executing a search warrant at a home on Louise Street. That's when a person exited a vehicle and fired shots towards police. The teen who fired the shots, Fabian Lara, was sentenced to 30 to 50 years in prison for his part in the shooting. Police later determined that Flores worked with Lara and others to coordinate the shooting to lure officers away from the search. The sentencing is set to take place at 11 this morning.